Question of the day, what is your favorite two-player game? And so help me, don't make any of the cheesy jokes that always happen when someone asks that question on a Facebook post, because it tells me your barometer of comedy is just not that high, and you know what I'm talking about. It usually involves some sort of deli snack. But today we're looking at a two-player game all about magical beings fighting each other, which is kind of why I sat in front of Thurston and Houdini here, because they were contemporaries and they have to do with magic. Although today we're talking about different types of magical beings with Cairn. I think it's Cairn, like a Cairn Terrier. Just a caramel colored little terrier. Anyway, let's take a look at this two-player strategic game. I don't want to give too many adjectives there because we'll talk about how it plays right now and come back up and talk about what I'm comparing it to, if I like it, if I don't, right now. So let's talk about Cairn. Actually, before I do any kind of box dropping effects or anything like that, look at this. I love the insert here. Everything that you need is sitting right there. This faction, that faction, scoring tokens, the actual ritual sites, the actions you're going to do, and then the reference cards. They go right there. I love that. So what is this game though? You're playing in these mystical forest and sea spirits trying to capture these ritual sites. And the way you do that is by doing very few things. This is very much in the vein of Onitama, if you ask me. Notice that you're trying to collect 3 points per side here. That's how this is going to work. You're going to do one of 2 things on your turn. Really, you're only going to do one thing on your turn unless you key this. These are the 3 action tokens, and here's the transformation token. As you do this, as you start the game, you're going to take these, drop them, and place them whichever way they are face up. These are the 3 actions that are available on your turn. When you do an action, you flip it and put it to the other side. Now, the first one is bring a new one of your characters in onto one of these spaces. So if the white side is showing here, you're going to bring a shaman in onto the white totem. If the black side is showing, you're going to bring a shaman in onto the black totem. When you do the action, you'll flip it over to the other side, meaning that the other person has access to that side. This next one is how you can move. You can move a shaman diagonally if you take this action. When you do it, you flip it over. Then the action on the back is move a shaman orthogonally. The next one is you can jump over a shaman. This is an enemy shaman. This is your own shaman. The symbol is obviously the same color as yours. Opposite color always means the enemy. Same here for the transformation. You're going to check and see if you activated the transformation effect. This is just a way to remove their shamans off the board. You'll notice that this one means if you can get lined up to where there's one in between the 2 of you, he comes off the board. But that's essentially what you're going to be doing. And you'll flip this over to where then it's 2-2 or 1-1 in one of theirs, like this lineup. Then you would do it again. But that is in fact all you're going to be doing in the game is moving around these spaces. However, when you do a transformation effect, or if you make it to the other side, essentially kinging yourself, like in checkers, you're going to put these ritual sites out on the board. There are 2 ways to get the megaliths onto the board. One is, like I said, kinging, and you get to place it out immediately in the space that you left. So if I leave that space, one gets put there. However, if you already have one here and you leave the board through this space, you don't get to put another one, so it's essentially wasted at that point. When you take one of these megaliths and put it out, you'll get a point. Now notice the megaliths also have symbols on them because these are additional actions, and they're listed right here in your personal player guide what all those different actions are. So the things like, oh sorry, that was German or French. That was French. Move the shaman from this megalith 1 space. You know, it's just all sorts of different actions. I'll let you take a look at those for a minute as opposed to reading every single one of them, but you know, skip a player's turn. That's really good. So as these come out there, they're going to make the spaces on the board more interesting. At most, obviously, you can have, while still playing, I think you're going to get 2 that are out there, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'll have 6 out there total. Now some of them allow you to switch them out, but essentially you're trying to do that until you become the person who reaches this space on the score track and you win the game. That is all there is to Cairn as far as mechanics themselves. However, the strategy runs very deep as you have to plan ahead many turns, knowing, well, if they take this action, I'm going to be moving diagonal, but I really need to move orthogonal to set this up or to land on the space to get off the board. A lot of different things to consider when playing Cairn. So that's Cairn. It is a strategic game. I put it in that Onitama genre, the game where it's a quick two-player game where you're only doing very few options. I mean, you can either move, you can either put a new one on the board, or you can either hop over it. Now, depending on which one's face up, you can do certain actions. You're trying to strategically put yourself around your enemies so that you can get certain benefits. I love it. I think that's a really cool concept. To me, when I first opened this up, I thought, this might be kind of bland, honestly. But once you get it on the table and you play it a couple times, you really get the feel for all the different options that come out due to those different monolith sites. And you still appreciate the simplicity for, well, I have one of three actions. It's going to happen one of two different ways. I think that's brilliant. I mean, there's not a lot to say about it. The miniatures look fantastic. The insert for the box is great because everything is in its place. You literally pop it out and get ready to go. It's immediately ready to set up on the table. There are no questions or quibbles about it. The rules are very simple. They're very straightforward. The only gripe I have presentation-wise is when you see the one that says put one out on one of the totem sites, it's actually really hard to tell which one's black or white from a glance. Obviously, you pick it up and look, you can tell. But typically, you can keep track of that anyway because you know when someone goes, well, I've got the opposite, right? So that's Cairn. It's a win for me. This is definitely one of those two-player games that's going to stay in my collection. It's in that Onitama genre where I really love it. I love how simple it is, the two-player outthinking each other. It's not really deep strategy. It's more tactics and outthinking each other and reacting more so than just acting. So that's Cairn. Go check it out. It is a fantastic game. I'm Bryan Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to check out our other 250 plus videos on the Dice Tower. Right here in the link below, there's a playlist with all the videos we've done. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, at Dice Tower Bryan, and until next time, I'll see you.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.